Hello there everyone, my name is Nathan Birch. Today we're going to be covering the second in-class exercise of lesson 1 for our JavaScript 2 course. So we start off with the code that looks like this. We have an HTML file that links to a app.js JavaScript module, and that also connects to this circle calculator module. All right, so let's go ahead and start in app.html by adding another label, input, button, and output div for the area of a circle. So I'll go ahead and add a little header as well that says circle circumference. Okay, and then down here I'll add another header that says circle area. Okay, and then I'm just going to copy these three things. Please enter the radius of a circle, that's all we need. We could probably just use that same input. I'll make a separate input. We'll call radius for area, and then submit area button, and then output area. Okay, these IDs all need to be unique. All right, so we did that. Modify circle calculator by giving it a function called calculate area. So I'm going to say we're going to want to export this. So I'll say export function calculate area. We'll give that a radius. Okay, and then real quick over here I'll just say formula area of a circle. Make sure that we get this right. So area equals pi r squared. All right, and that's exactly what I did here. That's embarrassing. So I think our circumference should have been 2 pi r. So instead of multiplying this by r, again, we multiply it by 2 for the circumference. Let me just verify that real quick. Formula circumference of a circle, that was it. Okay, yeah, circumference equals 2 pi r. Okay, so that'll give us a circumference. Then we have calculate area, which is right there. That should be good. All right, so, and that'll be exported as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead and save that, and then let's head back over here. Create a new file called validation.js. So I'll come over here, and I'm actually going to make a new folder for these. Yeah, so I'll call this class 2. This is our second class activity of the day. Oh, it already exists. Oh, good. All right, I'll copy these three things, move them down, and then, oh, that did not copy them. Copy those, keep them back up there. Okay, and then I can take that out and this out as well for our first activity. All right, close out of those. And then let's go into these ones. So circle calculator, we have that, and then app.js. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new file. We'll call it validation.js. And then we need a function called convert to number. So I'll say export convert to number. Oops, export function convert to number, which will take a user string. We can call that anything we want. And now we want a little bit of validation right here. So either I will return cannot convert to number, okay, or I'll go ahead and return the number that was used. So let's go ahead and Google real quick, JavaScript check if, oh, right there, string is a number. Okay, built-in way, we have the not a number function. So if you look right here, check if a variable including a string is a number, check if it is not a number. Okay, so returns true if the variable does not contain a valid number. So is not a number. All right, so right here, I'll say if is not a number, user string, then we'll go ahead and return that. Okay, because it means that it wasn't a number. Else, we'll go ahead and say return parse float user string. Okay, a little bit of error check in there. Okay. Now we will have to deal with this on the other side. So when we call this function, we'll have to make sure that we can display this error or use the number. Okay. So let's keep going. Modify app.js by including the import to convert to number function, as well as calling that function in both cases when we receive input from the user. So let's go into app.js. Come on, little computer. Okay, so let's make another one of these to call our next function when it's called. We said submit area button. And when that's called, we want to call the function well, let's go ahead and make a new function. I'll say submit area function. Okay, let's make a new function down here. Function submit area function. And then we'll do pretty much the same thing as we have right here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. And instead of getting this, I'll say radius area. I'm pretty sure that's what we called our second, radius for area. Glad I checked. Okay, so radius for area. And then calculate area. Okay, and output area as we're going to output that. Okay, now this is all good and dandy except for the fact that we're not using our other module yet. All right, so let's go ahead. We have the parse float happening right here. So we need to import a couple more things. So we have a new file called validation.js, and then we want to import convert to number, that function there. Okay, and then let's Google one other thing. I'm going to say JavaScript import multiple functions. Okay, let's see what we get. Importing multiple functions from module. Export default. All right, that's not what I'm looking for. But basically, we can just put a comma right here for that other function. So we had circle calculator, and then we added one. Let's see, calculate area is in circle calculator as well now. Okay, so we'll import both of those. Now that'll be recognized. Now we just have to call convert to number. So when I receive this data, okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I'll say we want to pass this into that function. So I'll say convert to number and then that value, okay? And then either this is going to return a number or an error, okay? So we can just say, well, actually, maybe something that would actually work better is right here, we'll just return null, okay? And so that'll just basically be like an empty value. And so then right here, we can say if, actually, let's assign that to a variable. We'll say let user number equals that. And then we'll say if user number, then we'll go ahead and do the rest of this. And we can move that up. Okay, so if user number is not null, then we'll go ahead and get the radius, or we'll pass that in. We can call this user radius. Okay, and then we have the circumference, and then we output that. Okay, then we'll do the exact same thing in a submit area function. Okay, so I'm actually going to copy this whole thing, even though we just worked so hard to make a couple of changes. All right, radius for area. So I'll put that in here, and that will be equal to user radius again. But then we're going to call calculate area, and then that will be area. Okay. All right. So let's give that a shot. I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to right click on this, open with live server. I'm We'll see if this works. So please input the radius of a circle. Submit. So let's see, I don't think we did anything. Yeah, we don't have an else statement on either one of these. So I'm just going to put an else here, and we'll just say alert. Actually, we can add it to the DOM. We'll say document.getElementById. We'll say output.innerHTML equals please enter a valid number. Okay. Now, anytime we use something twice, we usually want to declare it as its own variable. Then we don't have to use it twice. So right here, I'll say let output element equals that. Okay. Well, maybe I'll say output HTML since we have the HTML in there. Okay, and then I can just say the inner HTML equals that, and we'll do the same thing here. Then we only have to list that once. Okay, and then again, I'll copy this whole thing down here and paste it, but then we'll use area instead. Okay. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's see if it works. So the first thing I'm going to check is if we don't put in anything, and we're getting an error. So I'm going to right click on here and hit inspect. Oh, we're not getting an error. Sometimes that's even worse. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and open up my developer tools. And we're going to go into app.js. And I want to see if this is even being called. I'll hit submit. And it is. Good. Convert to number. Let's hit F10. User radius is not a number. Interesting. So let's go into validation and let's see what's going on in here. So I'm going to let that go and I'm going to submit it again. I'll hit F8. And so user string is null. And let's see what this returns. False. Okay, so if not a number, interesting. So that's actually, that function right here isn't working for us. So let's go ahead and just add one condition into our validation right here. We'll say if it's not a number, so that'll capture anything if they type like a number, or sorry, not a number, letters, or we say user string is equal to an empty string. Okay. All right, let's let that go. And let's refresh it, make sure we're good, and I'll not put anything in there. Okay, and let's go return null. Okay, that's good. And it still didn't output. Well, we're making progress. So let's come to right here. Hit submit again. All right, user radius is null. Okay, so user radius is null, so it'll go down in there. And then output HTML. Oh, so that didn't work to put the inner HTML right there. So let's make one other change right here. So let's take that off. And we'll say output element. And we'll put that there and there. But we'll also have to put dot inner HTML. Okay. And then down here, we're going to have to copy that and paste it, but we're going to output to the output area div, which is this guy. Okay. And then we're going to have to say, change both of those, and then add dot inner HTML to each. Okay, let's let that go and let's try this again. I'll hit refresh, and let's not put anything. Output element, good. That looks like a div with an ID of an output. So we found the element. If user radius is null, so it'll go down in here, and boom, please enter a valid number. Nice. Okay, let's try this one, make sure it's working there. Please enter a valid number, good. And then let's try 50. Okay, there's the circumference, and let's try 50 for the area. Okay, so I think we got it working. Okay, so I know this video is taking a little while, but we did a lot of things in here. Okay, so we have app.html, which is referencing app.js. This is kind of being used to drive our program, but we have a separate circle calculator file where I can put all of my logic for our circle calculations, all right, which I could just keep on adding to, and then I could add this as a module to any other application. But then I also have another module called validation.js, which has some of my validation taking place. So then this code, I don't have to write more than once, okay? In our next activity, we're gonna see how we can clean up this a little bit, because you guys saw me copying and pasting a lot here for these functions. So we're gonna see how we can clean this up a bit.